Good evening and welcome to TCH Live from TCH Social Austin. I'm William Malati with you this evening. We've got a special one for you. We've got the Def Poker Tour main event final table, $200 and 77 entries, $200 buy-in, 77 entries, down to 8 players, playing for a total of $3,665 for first place. While Monty deals the cards out, here are the payouts. I'll show those again later. 405 is what these 8 players have secured. 3665 up top. Glad to have you all here. Playing 6, 12, 12 blinds. So stacks pretty shallow to start this final table. Half-hour levels. And we started pretty early in 6, 12, 12 here. Ace Queen for James. Could just be all in here. Could also just min raise here and get in. That's also a great move. And James gets his raise through. Robbie, I don't know who got ninth place. We have 8 players now. I don't know who got ninth. So we intend to start these final tables with 9 players. What happened was we went from 10 straight to 8. There was 2 players knocked out to get us the final table at the same time. So we start with 8 players. And we see Evelyn in seat 4 is all in on her small blinds. Those are her last chips. So whatever happens, we're going to get a run out because if it folds to her, the big blinds covers that, obviously. So Evelyn, by the way, with ace-jack of diamonds, this is a great hand for a blinds all in. And she is eligible to win the entire ante. She can win 5,000 from anybody who enters this pot, and then she can win the entire 12,000 chip big blinds ante.
Seat 6 fold, seat 7 fold,
as Texas Card House is big blinds first. We satisfy the big blind before the ante, and you can win the entire ante. And we have Thomas making it 24,000 chips. That's a min raise. What the humble 10-3 offsuit. John Mark, 3 deuce of hearts, is dominated. Usually 3 deuce at least has the 2 live cards. There is going to be a decent size side pot between John Mark and Thomas. 19 and 19, that's 38. Yeah, 38 in the main pot. Or 38 in the side pot, the rest in the main pot.
5 card. Yes, sir, 5 card.
That's 27 in the main.
Players all in, 2 players here.
Good luck to Evelyn, who does have the best hands. Trying to stick around here. 6-6-4, 2 hearts. John flopping the straight flush draw. Ace high, still the best made hand, but John the favorite. Check, check. Queen of diamonds. Ace high still good. John still with plenty of outs. Any 5, any heart, any 3, any deuce.
3 bets. 22.
Not any 3. A 3 chops with Thomas, actually. And Thomas betting 22,000. Bluffing at it. John Mark calling. To the river we go. 8 of spades. And ace high will be good for Evelyn. She's going to win the main pot. The side pot would be 6s with queen 10, 8. Thomas has the best hands. He's going to bluff at it. He actually has the best hands in the side pot anyway. John Mark had so many outs and he missed them all.
39,000. C5 fold.
And we see John Mark folding. So side pot gets shipped to Thomas. They turn the cards up, and ace high going to hold. Evelyn going to more than triple. Evelyn, 22,000. She quintupled up.
Box, right? The flop and the
That's the dream. A quintuple is the dream. And Robbie, okay, so the profile picture, that was, okay, the last time in Vegas. Yeah, I actually went to that race. I was a big Orton fan myself.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'd gone to a bunch of races in 2015. And then a couple of the ones he ended up running in 2016 after Junior got his bell rung.
Seven.
And we get on to the next hand.
Raise to 26,000. C7. 8 folds, 1 folds, 2 folds, 3 folds.
Sir Bradford with the Queen 10 offsuit, making it 26,000. Sir Bradford, one of the big stacks, going to be pressuring his opponents.
C5 folds. C6 folds.
And we see the raise and take it for Sir Bradford. Again, this is the Def Poker Tour main event, $200 buy-in on this one. And
Oh, yeah, that's. Yeah, I didn't notice
so
that.
this event is exclusive to guests who are deaf, hard of hearing, or can communicate in American Sign Language, per the
Yeah, yeah.
notes on this tournament.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's give this community a great tournament series. This has gone on over the last few days. This is the main event. This is the big one. And they came to play. Michael with the ace queen.
Raise.
He's going to go for a raise.
36.
Going to go for, I believe, 36, if I count this right. 36,000.
C2 folds, C3 folds, C4 folds.
And no, Chris folded.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There we go.
5 folds.
And
6 folds.
we shall see if ace queen gets any resistance. I don't think it will. I don't think 5-3 is going to hang around. Watch him prove me wrong. Watch Sir Bradford prove me wrong. Nah, he's going to let it go. Michael going to get through with ace queen.
I kind of have to stay out there for a while because whenever they bust out, I have to.
I can do this solo. This is fine.
I know you can handle it, but I didn't want you to think I should.
No, I expect it to be solo. All right, we got to look at the chip counts. Sir Bradford, our chip leader. Thomas also with a huge chip stack. I think everyone going to be waiting to see what happens with Evelyn. Can she find another double, or is she going to go out in 8th place? When you have a stack that short at a final table, it's very detrimental for you to go out before that stack. As a matter of what we call the independent chip model, or ICM, where basically the long and short of it is losing chips is worse than gaining chips is good, if that makes any sense.
C4 folds.
Thomas, one of our big stacks, with an ace, gonna raise it up. Makes it 34,000. We even see pocket sevens fold, not wanting any calamity to befall them. Queen 10 suited folds. That's another hand that often defends. But I imagine they fully expect that Thomas is going to put out at least one more bet on later streets. Probably put them to the test for all their chips.
Yes, sir. Buttons on 7.
I think Evelyn knows what's up. They want to see what she does. before they start getting tangled. That said, average stack is fairly short here, less than 2 million chips in play. We see a lot of players below 20 big blinds. So nobody really has room to wait forever, especially with blinds going up every half hour. Chris with the ace-10 offsuit under the gun. I think Chris thinks this will be good enough. Good enough to call the 12,000.
C2 raised to 24,000. 2 and 3, I'm sorry, 3 and 4 fold.
And let's see, John Mark waking up with ace-king. Okay, so Chris actually made it 24,000. That was not a call, that was a raise. And I think John Mark was just clarifying with our dealer what the bet is. John Mark may well be going all in here. I believe he's signaled for a raise.
C5.
And he has made it 50,000.
C6 folds.
Leaving himself an escape hatch
7 folds.
if something crazy should happen behind, like 2 all-ins or something.
C8 folds.
James's threes have to find the muck. And back to the ace-10 of Chris.
C2 goes all in.
Chris moves all in, I believe. I see the all-in button out there. Gonna get the chip count. John Mark very, very likely to be calling here. Ace King have very strong hands.
No, I got 189. Maybe one. No, because he started on the button.
189 the total. So John Mark does cover by just a little bit if this chip count is correct. Does he think this is only a pocket pair? He lets it go. Well done by Chris. The bluff going to get him 50,000 chips plus those blinds and antes. That's 80,000 chips total. That's about 50% more chips in his stack without seeing a run out. That is a massive win for him. On to the next hands we go. You never know what's going to happen around here.
C3 folds.
Also, perhaps not wanting to go out before Evelyn, who we see has moved all in with what hands?
You ready?
I think we're waiting for the scanner
And
to
then C4 went all in, and then C5.
Queen 10 suited. Great hand to move in with. Only one more hand before she'd have to take her blinds and put those chips in anyway. Sir Bradford
Calls.
wants to go for the knockout, makes the call with the Jack-9 offsuit. Going to need to improve.
Heads up.
And we will go to a run out heads up. Can Evelyn's Queen-10 hold to stay alive here? Queen-10 of clubs versus Jack-9. One club, one spade. Let's go to the run out. 5, 4, deuce, 2 spades, ace of clubs, king of spades, and queen high will hold. Evelyn going to double up. Evelyn staying alive and suddenly back in the fight. Remind you of our payouts real quick. 8th place gets 405. We have 8 players left. Next ladder is the 460. 36.65 up top. Not bad for a $200 buy-in. These pay jumps get bigger as we go on, as usual. We get on to the next hands. Evelyn can afford to sit here for an orbit now and see how it shakes out. Especially if she gets to take the blinds before they go up to, I believe, 16 is the next level.
C5 folds. C6 folds. C7 folds. C8 folds. C1 folds. C2 calls.
Blinds on blinds. Chris calling.
C3 raise.
Thomas
40,000.
going to attack.
He said 40. He's trying to raise to 40. C2 folds.
40K gets the quick folds from Chris. Thomas with almost a quarter of the chips in play, or probably about a quarter of the chips in play. Daryl Wedding is no John Mark's a good player. I don't doubt that. You got to be a good player to make it this far in the tournament. Even if you occasionally make a fold that's incorrect or a call that's incorrect, that's part of the game. Not going to be right every time. I've certainly been wrong a number of times on this live stream myself.
C5 folds. C6 folds. C7 raised to 27,000. C8 and C1 fold.
Sir Bradford, one of our big stacks, raising it up. Chris considering a button defense. I think he's going to do that.
C2 calls.
Chris calls the 27,000, 10-8 suited.
C3 calls.
Thomas gets in there as well. Evelyn with the ace-10 offsuit makes the folds, hoping that something happens here and gets her a ladder, I'm sure. Sir Bradford flopping top pair. Chris with the double gut shot.
C7 bet. 42.
Thomas also with a gut shot.
C2 folds.
Sir Bradford continuing for 42,000. Chris just folding the straight draw. Thomas calling. Thomas needs a 10. Instead, Sir Bradford making trips.
C7 checks.
Check, check. To the river we go, and that's an 8. Thomas pairs the 8. Sir Bradford's trips will be good. Battle of big stacks.
3 bets, 55,000.
We have Thomas betting into Sir Bradford. He's bluffing. I think bluffing. Gets called. The 55,000 gets called. And trips will beat a pair of 8s. So Sir Bradford taking a nice one off the other big stack. Sir Bradford really pulling out ahead with the chip lead. Little under 2 million chips in play total, so Sir Bradford with nearly a third of them with 8 players remaining. As we get another hand dealt out here.
C6. 6 folds. 7 folds. C8 folds.
King Queen for Michael. About 12 bigs left. Could min raise, could go all in.
C1 raise to 40.
Choosing the third option, decides to make it, I believe, 40,000.
Player goes, C4 goes all in.
And we have an all in, I believe, from Evelyn.
Yeah, 2 and 3 fold, 4 is all in. C5 folds.
And Evelyn has ace-7 suited. Get the chip count here. Should be 60,000. So Michael going to be priced into calling here. 20,000 into a pot that's going to be 140,000. Evelyn could show any 2 cards and he has the correct price to call. Apart from maybe kings. When you put 40,000 in, you are opening yourself up to this spot. So where you might not enjoy it, but you really do need to call from a math standpoint. If you're going to fold to Evelyn, you should probably be min raising or preemptively going all in yourself. And he makes the fold. Well done, Evelyn. Evelyn doubled her stack without a run out. Wow. Watch out for Evelyn. Now putting Michael in the short stack position. Pocket 3s for Michael. Down to 9 big blinds. Chooses to limp.
C2 fold. C3 calls. C4 folds.
John Mark, Jack 4 offsuit on the small blinds. Thomas got in there too. Thomas called.
5 folds.
And John Mark folding that Jack 4.
Checks.
Andrea with the King 6 gets a free look at it. We go 3 ways to this flop. 10-6 deuce. And Andrea's free look is going to be good for middle pair and the best hands.
C6 bets. 44.
Andrea going to bet this out. This likely works. 44,000 and
3 folds.
they both fold. Andrea wins the pot with a hand that would likely have folded to a raise preflop.
I think Pete Diddy got a hold of these things. Yeah, this is lit. Yes, sir. Blinds are up. Yeah, 8 and 16.
Lines are up 8, 16, 16. The last thing you want to hear is a short stack. We now have 4 players rather, below 10 big blinds.
Yeah. Did you get them? Yes, sir. 8 and 1 fold. C2 fold. C3 is going to raise. 50. C4 fold.
$50K from Thomas. And John Mark waking up with kings. I think there's only one move here, and that's going to be all in.
C5 goes all in.
And that is exactly what he does. He moves all in. Good luck to John Mark.
C6 folds.
Back to Thomas, who's priced himself in with this raise size, going 50K, and only another 70 to go in, but that would leave him fairly short if he does not win this all in. 7-6 offsuit, pretty weak hands. He got caught with his hands in the cookie jar. He's going to have to make the fold. John Mark lifting himself up the order.
No, for sure. Absolutely. No doubt. But
Michael with ace jack. This is an all-in candidate.
C1 raise. 40,000.
Puts half his stack in, about 45,000. 40,000 rather. Evelyn with ace king moving all in.
C5 folds. C6 folds. C7 folds.
James with kings. He's got one player who's got most of his chips in. He's got one player with all her chips in, and he has kings. This is the dream.
What is that?
Getting the price tag.
124.
He's going to move all in, and now Michael can actually fold. Michael can fold and hope that he gets a ladder out of this. What a disgusting spot for Michael. There is a world where he can fold and hope that this gets him at least 7th place money. Not that it's a very big pay jump.
1-7.
Ace-Jack offsuit doesn't feel great against 2 all-ins. And he is going to put it in. We're going to have a 3-way all-in on our hands.
Yeah.
Michael's in for the main pot. There is a small side pot between James and Evelyn.
96.
About 50,000 chips or so on the side. Ace king, king king, and ace jack. Do we get the mandatory ace on the flop? First, let's get the pots right.
Got you guys on the side. Okay, you ready for me to work this? Bring all this edge in or something.
Can James hold for the double knockout?
Players all in.
6, 4, 3, 2 clubs. There's the 9. There's the 8 of diamonds. And James going to take it all. James going to score the double knockout. when you lose two players at the same time, whoever had more chips gets the better placement. So Michael's going to be 8th, Evelyn's going to be 7th. And then there were 6 players. So Michael getting 405, Evelyn getting 460 for 7th place,
So 4 had the bigger stack.
and
So one goes out.
550 is what these players have all locked up for themselves. Now, good game, Michael and Evelyn. Thank you so much for playing. Hope you had a great time.
For the payments, though, as they. So one, you let them know.
And
Yeah, one had the lesser stack, so he gets paid the first, and then she gets paid the second.
yeah, so we're going to continue on here. And this was
Yes, sir.
big for James. James now moves into 2nd place. Right place, right time. Heck of a run for Evelyn to even get the one ladder. She came onto this final table with less than 1 big blind and turned that into not last place.
Okay, C3 fold. C5 fold. C6 folds. C7 folds.
And we have a potential battle with the blinds. Folds to James in the small at the 10-4. He's going to give a walk. And say, okay, Chris, you have it. And Chris actually had him dominated.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I would do some liquor. Actually, C5. You got all the cards.
Everybody over 10 big blinds at this point.
Folds.
Sean Mark, our shortest stack at 211.
Folds.
Sir Bradford with the ace-10. Sir Bradford going to open it up.
C7 raise. 44. C8 folds.
44, the price tag. 44 going to get it done. 40,000 additional chips heading Sir Bradford's way. Every blind steal is so valuable. I mean, this is more than a starting stack that he just won himself by saying raise.
Really good. Cool, cool. Yeah, they're really great. I like these guys. I tell you, they're teaching me cuss words today. Yeah, 6 and 7 fold. Yeah, that's right. C8 folds.
Folds to Chris's button, ace-7 offsuit.
C1 or C2 calls.
Calls the 16.
3 calls.
Thomas going to come along. John Mark with pocket fives. Could take the free flop, could also move all in.
C5 checks.
Going to take the free flop. Just in case he's getting trapped. Queen 10-9, dreadful flop for fives. Bottom pair for Thomas, who perhaps recognizes it's hard to make a pair. What's a bet out there? Pair of nines is best right now. Goes about half pot, and nobody can do anything about that. Chris doesn't even have enough chips to consider trying to find himself another diamonds or another Broadway card to give him a draw. We don't get to make straights and flushes anymore. We're just trying to make top pair and hope it's good. See some of our players commiserating on the rail. What a crazy hand that was to send Evelyn out in 7th place, Michael out in 8th. Sir Bradford has the chip lead, and now he has ace jack of hearts.
C7 raised 40,000. C8 folds. C2 fold. C3 fold.
John Mark with the 8-3 lets it go. Andrea king 7 off in the big blinds. Lets it go. And Sir Bradford shows it. Not messing around. As the chip leader, he can mess around. He can push these players around.
You're such a happy people. I love these guys.
We continue on with the Def Poker Tour main event final table here on TCH Live from TCH Social. Austin William Lottie with you. Thanks to all of you watching. Hit like if you're enjoying this, please. Let us know that you enjoy this.
C8 folds. C2 folds.
King Jack for Thomas. And it's not clear what he's done here. Okay, he's called the 16,000s.
C5 calls.
And John Mark gonna call. Andrea gonna call. Let's see if Sir Bradford wants to raise it up or if he wants to just take the free flop. It would be fun to see him put these players to the test. He is gonna check. 8-6 offsuit. Perfectly happy to see it for free. And he flops an open enter. King 9-7. Thomas and Andrea both with top pair. Sir Bradford with the open-ended straight draw. John Mark has a gutter as well. Something for everyone here. Andrea with the inferior top pair, the King 6, going to bet out. Makes it 43,000. Sir Bradford's got something here. He's got a straight draw. Could play this as a raise. Wants to see what Andrea's got left. Those orange brownish chips are 25K. Pink is 5K rather, and the yellows are 1K. Sir Bradford making the call. So Thomas has top pair. Not top kicker, but has top pair. Sees a bet and a call. And decides he wants to call as well. This is probably the end of the road for John Mark's gut shot. That is an appetizing price, but not quite enough outs. So we go 3 ways to the turn. Can Sir Bradford find a 10 or a 5? Can Andrea find a 6? No, the 7 is going to pair. Andrea's kicker no longer playing. Kings and 7s with a 9 for her. Thomas's jack does play. Andrea gonna move all in. 133,000. Little over half pot. So Bradford wants to see. Gets the price tag. Might just decide he wants to get the knockout. Forget the odds. Not ideal to have another player behind you who can also have a hand. Entirely possible that he paired a 7. All the same, Sir Bradford needs to make the straight. You're never going to expect 8 high to win a showdown. Sir Bradford does let it go. Over to Thomas, who does have the better top pair, and he folds. Andrea's aggression gonna get her a pot that didn't belong to her. Aggression can be the winning move so often at these final tables. And we've seen that work a few times tonight. Make the bet at the right time, and you see the better hands hit the muck. Andrea up into 3rd place. Jean-Marc, our current short stack, a little bit below 10 big blinds.
C2 calls, C3 folds.
Chris calling. Jean-Marc waking up with 9s. Moves all in. Very standard play. And this probably works. This does work. Jean-Marc, no longer the shortest stack. About another 10 minutes of this level. Then I believe we go up to 10, 20, 20.
C6 folds. C7 folds.
Blinds on blinds action.
C8, 33.
James raising it up to 33. It's a little min raise. Chris lets it go. James going to stack some more chips. Positioning himself for the later stages of this tournament. Build your stack now. Give yourself a chance at a lot more once we get to, say, 3-handed, 4-handed.
Yeah, there's a lot going on out here. Yeah, I think just sitting here, we're looking at it right here on the screen. Five folds. Six folds.
Sir Bradford,
Yeah.
10-8 offsuit, chooses to let it go.
C7 folds. C8 folds.
Could also consider trying to push these guys around a little bit. Would not have worked. Chris with pocket fives, going to move all in on the small blinds. Queen Jack offsuit for Thomas.
C3 folds.
Chooses to let it go. It's a closer spot than you think. Like if you think Chris is shoving a conventional range, you can call with the Queen Jack. Sometimes. We've seen Chris probably be a little bit tighter than that, so going to give him the respect. Blinds on blind, the ranges get pretty wide, especially sub 10 big blinds.
C6 folds.
Sir Bradford with ace 9.
C7 raise. 43.
43,000's the raise from him.
Folds. C2 folds. C3 folds.
James folds some suited broadways. The power of raising. John Mark, Queen 3 offsuit. Gonna think it over. He'd love to get a hand that can reasonably defend. This is not one of those hands. He does fold. Yeah, Robbie, like I said, I haven't got a chart right in front of me, but like blind versus blinds for less than 10 big blinds, like Queen Jack can actually be a call sometimes, like depending on what range your opponent is shoving. It doesn't come up that often that you get this spot, but it is a spot that comes up, especially in the later stages of the tournament.
Fold. 7.
Small blind should actually be shoving a lot of hands, especially as the short stack, as the one who needs to chip up.
C2 calls. C3.
Chris calling with the 5-4. Thomas will do the same with his ace-3 off.
C5 folds. C6 check. We're going with it.
King 7 gonna check. 3 players. Ace Jack deuce, 2 clubs. Thomas with top pair. Gutter for Chris.
C6 checks. C2 checks.
Checks over to Thomas. He's gonna bet this top pair.
C3 bets 40,000. C6. Yes, sir. C6 folds. C2 folds.
Thomas gets it through with the 40,000 chip bet. And cheering for Sir Bradford.
Okay, so they
Austin
told you
Reg.
He'll tell you if a player needs to rub. So if you want to communicate with them, to rub their cards.
Now, 10-9 of hearts folded. Sometimes you see these things happen on final tables, especially if you have multiple players in the pot already. And there is some logic to it. You could just chill and get a ladder. Just when other people get knocked out. While we do this deal or change, I'll remind you of the payouts. These 6 players have locked up $550, $595 the next ladder, $36.65 up top. This was a $200 buy-in. Sir Bradford getting a walk. Okay, the 10-9 was under the gun. Okay, so there's even a little bit of logic to that. You could not want to get repopped and then have to fold. You could consider shoving that yourself. Chris making the call with the Queen Jack. James with the 8-3 gets a free flop. Nine, 9-5, queen high, good for Chris. Quick check, check. Turns a harmless deuce. See if there's any betting. Nope. And Chris rivers a queen. Had the best hands anyway. Now he'll feel good enough to bet it. James, unfortunately, does not have the option to double down. This is poker. 8-3 is not quite as good as in other card games. This is one of 4 stops for the Death Poker Tour, TCH Austin. This is their first time here. Other stops in Baltimore and Vegas. They've done those already. There's going to be another Baltimore stop near the end of the year. I believe Death Poker Tour is deathpokertour.com is the website. Thomas coming in with a raise. And Sir Bradford with 6s. Which he may just think are good enough to play against Thomas's 9s. Sir Bradford eyeing up the chips, I think. Is he thinking about a re-raise? Is he thinking about a call? Is he thinking that Thomas can only be doing this with something better than 6s? A lot of considerations here. You have to think that the next bet's going to be all in. Would not be ideal to give half your stock to Thomas. So Bradford might be cutting out re-raise chips, and that's what that is. Bunch of those orange 25Ks at the bottom. Goes back to his cards. He folds. Excellent folds. That's the tricky thing. The way we see some of these hands get played, we see limps and we see big raises. When you do a lot of limping and suddenly you raise big, well, what's that? They think we've hit the ends of the level. And players are going to get a short break. So the Death Poker Tour has about 350 members that visit these 4 stops: Austin, Baltimore, and Vegas, and a second stop in Baltimore. And this is their first trip out to Austin. Kat had suggested Austin. We have the bar and restaurant. You might have noticed that the food options here are pretty good, and a large deaf community that can support this tournament, and hotels nearby. They like the facility, and hopefully we have them back again. It's been a lot of fun. And we do see a color up happening here. I'm not sure how to turn the closed captioning on, unfortunately.
You gonna keep some yellow on there?
No yellow. Yellow's done.
Okay. 60 here.
Can you reach one of those? Thank you. I'm sorry.
Just see a little bit of chip maintenance going on. We no longer need the yellow chips, so we're getting rid of them. Coloring those up. So the way this works is everything in increments of 5 gets colored up to a 5K, and then we take the extra chips that you have left over. Each of those, you get a card. High card gets a pink chip, a 5,000 chip. And then the 1Ks will just be gone. We don't need them anymore. We're going to go to 1020. And then presumably something like 1530. 2040, we don't need thousands anymore. And so that's what you're seeing here. The fun of a tournament break.
Please. Sorry. Oh, thank you.
Going to make it a lot easier to count chips. Hope you've all enjoyed the show. We started this stream with 8 players, down to 6 on a crazy double knockout hand. Ace Jack running into Ace King, which in turn ran into Kings, which took it all. 6 players left. 550 is what they've all locked up on this $200 buy-in Def Poker Tour main event. TCH Social Austin. First place paying $36.65. Second, $21.95. Third, $13.85. What a tournament it's been. We've seen some fun pots. Total prize pool was $11,550. 12 players got paid. $77 entries altogether. you're enjoying this, be sure to hit that like button. TCH Live is on at least 6 nights a week across the Austin, Dallas, Houston, and Rio Grande Valley Texas Card House locations. Tonight we've got final tables from here in Austin and also in Dallas on this same YouTube channel, TCH Live Poker. Tomorrow we've got the PLO at the Capital final table, $300 buy-in, 15K guarantee tournament we do every month here at TCH Social Austin. We're going to stream that final table tomorrow evening. I'll be back with you for that one. Tuesdays, we have a big cash game from Dallas. Wednesdays, we play cash here in Austin. We had a really great 5-5-10 the other night. That was a lot of fun. Thursdays, we're in Houston. Fridays, Rio Grande Valley. Bonus content on the Texas Card House YouTube channel as well. Also, if you're ever in Texas, be sure to check out the Las Colinas and Spring locations. Even if we don't stream out of those are really nice rooms as well. You got any questions about Texas Card House or Texas Poker? Feel free to ask. Yeah, I don't know how the captioning button on the YouTube video works. I don't know if there's a technical problem there or not. Yeah, sorry I can't help you there. I just don't know how that works. See players coming back towards the table. I think it was officially a 10-minute break. I'm not 100% sure. And if all the players come back, we can start sooner than that. And Def Poker Tour main event final table. TCH Social Austin. We're on a short break right now. William Waddy with you. Glad to have you all here on this Saturday evening. Hope it's been a good one as we wrap up summer. We head into fall. And we also head into the second season of the Trailblazer Tour, starting up on Thursday, the 25th, at Dallas and Las Colinas. 2 locations, 1 stop. That'll run into the middle of October. We'll be at Spring in November, Rio Grande Valley in Edinburgh at the end of December, Houston in January, Dallas, Las Colinas once again in February, wrapping it up here in Austin in April. There is a Player of the Series free roll once again, over $7 million across the prize pools last season. TexasCardHouse.com for all the details, or Poker Atlas. Can't wait for that. A little bit more locally here in Austin. This coming Friday, the TGIF tournament has a massive $40,000 guarantee. Nolan Hold'em rebuy tournament. That's a good one. Poker Atlas Tour, if you're looking for a more robust tournament series, Poker Atlas Tour is coming here in November. Scheduled to be announced very soon, I'm sure, on the Poker Atlas app and at TexasCardHouse.com. Can't wait for that one. Can't wait to be back in the saddle for tournaments. Glad you enjoy this, Robbie. We do this at least 6 nights a week. Be sure to subscribe, get notifications on, find out every time we're doing this, and hope to see you back here in the chat. It's a lot of fun doing these shows. I love the game. I love sharing it with all of you. Love interacting with all of you. That's the fun part of this job. As our break continues. And I think we're getting close to resuming. Probably within the next minute or two, I've heard. And going to come back to 10-20-20. So looking ahead, we've got two players who are going to be below 10 big blinds, or the 20,000 big blinds. Even our chip leader only has about 31 bigs, so nobody has a lot of chips at this point. We're at the point where there's less than 100 big blinds in play. This is where we get into the end game of a poker tournament. This is where we can start to think about the tournament ending, like particularly once you get down to like 75, 60 big blinds in play, we can really think about the tournament ending. And with half-hour blinds, that's probably within the next hour, hour and a half that this thing ends, assuming it plays all the way out. Haven't heard of any chop discussion yet, but players are allowed to chop the prize pool. I don't know if the Def Poker Tour has any special rules about chops. I imagine they all want that really big trophy, though. I think that's worth playing for. What we normally do at TCH is we do allow the clock to stop one time for players to discuss numbers. All right, here we go. We got card shuffling. We got poker happening. And here we go. We got the blinds getting posted. 20,000, 20,000. So painful to put out there. Starting stack was 30. No, it was 25. It was 25,000, yeah. 25,000. So almost an entire starting stack going out there. John Mark waking up with ace jack. Just what you want to see. Sitting with less than 10 bigs. This is a hand that can very comfortably move all in. We'll see if he plays it a different way. No, he's going to go for all of it. And we'll see what happens here. Even if it just gets through, that's another 50,000 chips for you. James with king, queen. He can think about it. It'll be half of his stack. You'd rather not do this against under the gun. But you could justify it. We see John Mark doing a lot of all-in. Like, it's not a face-up play when he's going all-in. So that's just what we see him do. It's not like limp sometimes, shove other times. He does let go of the king-queen. And everyone folds. John Mark picks up around the blinds just in time to have to take the blinds. Leaving Chris and C2 as our shortest stack. We see our biggest pots. The kings versus ace king. That graphic doesn't even show the ace jack that got caught up in that mess. Ace 8 suited for Sir Bradford.
6-7 raises to 55,000.
Queens for James. He moves all in. James getting all the big pairs this evening. John Mark with pocket fours. If there weren't a raise and an all-in ahead of him, he could get in. I think with the two players in there, the move is probably fold to allow yourself a chance at that ladder. Does make the fold. Sir Bradford, ace 8, not a great kicker. This would be more than half his stack. Dicey spot. He may decide that the 8 is not enough kicker for him. We see James is comfortably ahead with those queens. Gonna think it through. Want to think your spots through at the final table. I appreciate him taking his time. And he lets it go. James going to take this one with the queens. Not going to get himself any knockouts this time around. Two players below 10 bigs now. On to the next hand. Blinds on blinds. John Mark with the 3 deuce. Just going to give a walk. Hands the small blind to Andrea, who had a very unimpressive 8-4. Thankfully, it didn't matter what she had, because nobody wanted to play. Pocket fours for Andrea in the small blinds. Gives the walk. Sir Bradford with the ace-5. I wonder how that would have played out if she would have limped. A pair could even consider raising. I do think sitting third in chips, she didn't want to tangle with the big stack. See what happens with Chris or John Mark first. Thomas moving all in. Ace 8 offsuit. Deciding this is the moment. See if he steps in it. He steps in it. Andrea with ace king. Thomas running into it. Ace king, a pretty clear all in. And that's exactly what Andrea does. So Bradford not going to get an early Christmas present. James has already had one tonight. He's not going to get another one. Andrea has Thomas at risk. Thomas needs an 8 to stay alive. Otherwise, he will be out in 6th place. 600K in the middle. Ace, queen, 5. No help for Thomas, who needs an 8 and an 8 alone. Gets the 8! Thomas with the dirty river gets there. Gonna get these chips counted. Andrea should have a bit left behind. Massive pot going Thomas's way, which I believe is going to put him in the chip lead. What a river. What a river. Nothing can be easy around here. This is tournament poker. You have a 92% chance at scoring a knockout and becoming chip leader, and that's not what happens. Andrea down to just over a big blind. Going to have a few hands to pick her spot to put the rest in. We saw Evelyn spin up earlier tonight and collect a ladder with less than one big blind. It can happen again. John Mark with the 6s. An all-in candidate. Unless he wants to try and wait out Andrea, he's going to call the 20. Andrea decides this is not the hand. 5 deuce is not the hand. We haven't seen John Mark do a lot of limping tonight, so see how these players react. Sir Bradford gonna call from the button. Chris gets a free look at his Jack 10 of clubs on the big blinds. Here we go, 3 ways. 7-4 deuce. Pocket 6 is still good. Only 1 over, and the 7 is not a scary card. John Mark tosses 30,000 out there. Other players with just overs. Nothing that great draw-wise, just a backdoor straight draw. Sir Bradford wants another card. Then need a jack or a 9 to pull ahead. As Chris folds, we go heads up. John turns the set of 6s. John Mark gonna win this pot. Checks it over. Getting tricky. Check, check. The river is an 8. This is going to put Forder with straight on the board. This could kill the action. Or maybe John Mark's going to be thinking, you know what, if he had a 5, he might have let me know by now. He is going to put a bet out there. He's going to make it 35,000. Trying to get called by a pair. Or some kind of ace high that doesn't believe him. Front door diamonds did miss. And Sir Bradford could be thinking the same thing. If John had a 5, maybe I would have heard about that on the turn. Let's it go. Jack high can't catch a bluff. John Mark going to stack himself some chips. Anyone's game at this point. as we head to our 33rd hand of this Death Poker Tour main event final table here on TCH Live from TCH Social Austin. Ace 9 for John Mark. Let's it go. I think he wants to see what happens with Andrea, who folds the 9-3. James with queens again. Raises to 75,000. Pretty beefy size. Gets it through. What are the color of the chips? So those orange brownish chips are 25,000. Pink chips are 5,000. Yellow is 1,000. I'll put that in the chat. Actually, just orange and pink were all we have at this point. Yellows are gone. Thomas just calling with the 10-9. I think a raise is probably better. Force John Mark to call off his tournament life. Instead, it's going to be a free one, and John Mark going to outflop him, King 3 deuce. John Mark with top pair. Thomas checks it over. John Mark certainly has to bet top pair. And 40,000 gets it done. No pair, no draw, no hope for Thomas, so easy folds. And this is it for Andrea. This is the all-in moment. She's forced in, doesn't have enough to satisfy both. Texas Card House is big blinds first. This means the big blind gets posted before the ante. So 20,000 is her big blind. It looks like she's got 5 left over for the ante. And an all-in player is eligible to win the entire ante. Good luck, Andrea. Gonna get a run out regardless, since the small blinds covers that all in. There is no fold that's gonna happen. She's gonna have to win it the hard way at Showdown. And Thomas calls with the Queen 10. Does John Mark want to get in there and try to score the knockout? Don't have his cards yet. Does make the call. So 26,000 in the side pot. King 8 for John Mark, who flops a gut shot. Thomas flops an open ender and top pair. Andrea, unfortunately, drawing all but dead. Her gut shot is no good. The 10 would make the bigger straight for John Mark. Thomas going to bet into the side pot, which is, it's got some money in it already. No, correction, that's a dry side pot. So 47 was in the main, or 45 rather was in the main. These numbers don't reflect the color up, so the numbers are slightly off. John Mark does call the 20,000, so now we have 40 on the side. And the turn is a 5 of diamonds. John Mark checks it over. Thomas bets again. Another min bet, 20,000. Unfortunately, Andrea cannot beat Thomas. John Mark considering whether he wants to put another 20,000 in to try and find himself a 10. He does not. So Thomas wins the side pot immediately. And we're going to see that Andrea then had a gut shot with John Mark folding his better straight draw. Does not find the 10, though. So Andrea will be out in 5th place. 5th place? No, 6th place. My mistake. I'm sorry about that. 550 is what 6th place is going to pay out. 595 for our top 5 players. Thanks for playing. So glad to have you here. Dead small blind this hand. Since she would have been the small blind, we just have a big blind. And one moment while these graphics catch up. Looks like we had a call. And one moment, please. John patiently waiting in the box for buttons to get pressed. And for the computer to actually do the thing. Oh, wow. Thomas with queens. Decided to just call. Gets trappy. John Mark folding. And now we're on to Sir Bradford. Has an 8-5 of his own. Chris has 8-5. So does, anyway, we get to the flop 3 ways. Oof, ace, king, 6, all spades. Nightmare flop for queens with no spade. But those are still ahead. We check through. Turn is 7 of spades. Open ender for our 2 8-5s. Nobody holds a spade in their hands. 4 of clubs on the end. So Sir Bradford and Chris would chop at showdown with their straight, their 8-high straight. It is Sir Bradford doing the betting. This is a 4 flush board. And the straight folds, the queens fold. Sir Bradford gets the entire pot to himself. Well done, Sir Bradford. We see Chris now below 5 big blinds. It's a spot where all in just takes the entire pot then and there. No way 8-5 is going to call. Thomas with the queen 9 suited. Very raisable hands. Goes to 75. John Mark with 2 aces and even more raisable hands. Does he want to play the smooth call game? Intending to get in on any flop. Counting the chips out. It's a big spot. This is a tournament defining spot. Moves all in. Folds back to Thomas, our initial raiser. Queen 9 suited. Reaching for chips. That does make the folds. Would have been surprised with that call. John Mark with the pickup there. Chris has to find his spot real soon as he puts half his chips in on the big blinds. Never a good feeling. Everyone else waiting him out at this point, most likely. John Mark wanting to see the remaining stack in C2. Just in case he raises, he doesn't want a situation to where maybe he min raises and then Chris moves in for slightly more and then it's a dead raise. All in and a call. King 8 versus Queen 4. Chris needs to hit a queen or a 4 to stay alive. There's a 4, but a king for James. Queen or a 4 does not appear for Chris, who will be out in 5th place. A hand that plays itself. 3 big blinds. You put just about any 2 in, especially when there's nobody you can wait out. And James should be shoving pretty much any 2 as well. You just leave it up to the poker gods. Kings and 8s. Going to do the job. And we're down to 4 players. Chris gets $595. These 4 remaining players have $895 secured, $1385 the next pay jump. Who do you think is going to take it? It's a pretty thin spread from 1st to 4th. Anyone can win this. Let us know in the chat. Who do you think takes this? And we get a walk. Oh, and Thomas had jacks. What a time to give him a walk. $10, $20, $20 on the blinds. Thomas calling the small blind. John Mark waking up with ace king suited. How big will he go? All in's probably a bit much at the stacked up. 18 bigs to start the hand. Something like 70, 80 is a fairly conventional size. That looks like about 80 or so. And 5-4 off just gets out of the way. And we get on to the next hands. Queen 10 for Thomas.
PPL 1-2, no limit. Tables ready. PVT 1-2, lead 1-2.
Shine mark with the suited ace.
PPL
Could raise over this limp. Does just call.
1-2, lead table 7.
Sir Bradford's going to get a free flop out of this if he wants it. Three ways we go. Ace 8, 4, 2 hearts. Nobody with a heart in their hand. John Mark with top pair. And a heavy favorite to win. $40K should fold it out. And it does. Sir Bradford's still our chip leader, but not by a lot. This is fairly close. This feels like the calm before the storm. We're going to have some big explosion of hands. Thomas 10-9 suited. Gonna once again just call. And gonna fold to the big blinds of James, who has King 9 suited. Gonna get a free flop. Might just decide to attack the limp though and raise. I like this too. When you raise, you give your opponent the chance to fold and you win the pot right then and there. 50 may not be as, it might be, let me try that again. 50,000, not a big enough price. Thomas calls, we go heads up. Ace Jack 8. Oh, wow. Something for everyone here. Open enter for Thomas. Nut spade draw for James. Thomas moves all in. A massive overbet. 4x pot. James knows he's never drawing dead. I doubt he expects he's actually ahead here. King high is the best hand at the moment. But he has to let it go because Thomas goes the aggressive route. The benefits of raising. Usually there's a note that gets passed to me. John Mark letting go of the Jack 4.
7 fold.
And Thomas going to get a walk. Nice to win back-to-back pots when you're four-handed, even if this one is just a walk. And it looks like blinds are up 15, 30, 30. We're really getting down to it. Big blind is now more than a starting stack, which was 25,000 this evening. I know the graphics don't have the blinds up to date yet, but we do see the blinds posted. James with the old King Jack of Diamonds
8 call.
makes the call. Thomas calling as well. John Mark, free flop if he wants it, 8-5 suited. Does check his option. And 3 players, 1 spectator. Ace-6-6. Everybody whiffs on this. First player to bet at it probably wins. See if anybody wants to bite. Not yet. We checked through. Turn is a 4, which does give John Mark a gut shot. King high still best. But with the gut shot and a checking through, you could consider bluffing this in John Mark's spot. There's a pretty good chance he would have heard from an ace or a 6 by now. He does choose to check. James checking as well. To the river we go. And James had the best hand, and he has an even better one with this pair of jacks. James will attempt to get some thin value, making it 30K. That is the minimum bet at this 1530 blinds. And James takes this one. $15, $30, $30 on the blinds. We now have 2 players. 2 of our 4 players sub 15 blinds. Everybody is sub 20. The blinds coming around this quick. There's going to be nowhere left to hide. Looks like we have a limped pot. Thomas and Sir Bradford. Jack 6 versus Jack 4. Graphics still catching up. Queen 8 and 9. They both have a gut shot. Thomas decides to bet his gut shot. Full pot, 95,000. Likely to work. Unless Sir Bradford decides to re-bluff. But you certainly could. You have a gut shot. You are blocking the nuts, holding a jack. How many hands is Thomas limping that connects with this board in a strong way? But he just decided to let it go. Also, a completely reasonable thing to do. Deaf Poker Tour main event final table here, TCH Live from TCH Social. Austin William Motti with you. Deaf Poker Tour, including their first Austin stop. I hope we see them back here. They also make stops in Baltimore and Vegas every year. Over 350 members of that organization. So glad they decided that TCH Social Austin was the place to host the tournament series. Three ways to the flop. Ace 8-3 rainbow, about as dry as it gets. Everyone misses. Imagine being John Mark, the one player not in this hands. You're just hoping that somebody goes broke somehow, which 10 of hearts does give gut shots to the 9-6s. Someone goes broke, you make more money. Queen on the end. Thomas's queen high improves to second pair and the winning hands. Thomas once again going to go for some value. Goes 75K. Unfortunately, both players sitting with just 9 high. Cannot pay him off. Nor are they inclined to bluff. Thomas up to 700,000. Putting himself out front again. We saw him at the top of the leaderboard early in our final table. Took a dip, but has recovered to have more than a third of the chips. John Mark making the fold. And everyone else folding. Our chip leader picks his blinds back up. And we get on to another hand. Want to play a poker tournament yourself here at TCH Social Austin? We got some good ones coming up. PLO with the Capital tomorrow. 15K guaranteed, $300 buy-in. We're live streaming that final table. Friday night, our TGIF tournament becomes extra large with a $40,000 guarantee. TexasCardHouse.com or Poker Atlas for the full schedule. Men's pot blind versus blinds. John Mark with the Jack-10 suited could just go all in here. Chooses to check. 6-5 deuce. Thomas gonna pair his deuce. A whiff for John Mark. The rich may be about to get richer here. John Mark does make the folds. Another pot going Thomas's way. And we get a dealer change.
Are you redoing seat 3 for 6-8 or 3 for 6-7? Or just like
While we make this quick dealer change, I'll remind you of the payouts. These four players have secured $895, $13.85 for third, $21.95 for second, $36.65 up top. Not bad for a $200 buy-in. We got 77 entries for this tournament. Open to deaf, hard of hearing, and American Sign Language speakers. James letting go the Queen Jack. Thomas with an ace. And the chip lead. Looks like he is going to raise. He is going to attack. Makes it 110. Correction, he makes it 70. I think it's 110. I think that's 4 chips. John Mark with 6-3. Offsuit. Lets it go. Sir Bradford in the big blinds with Queen 8. Is Thomas going to get away with another one? Every raise he gets through is another 75,000 chips into his stack. He's quickly going to leave the remaining 3 players fighting for scraps. Unless one of them takes a stand.
Second call for the brand new 1-2
Thomas will pick this one up.
for Alexander W, MSC, and ARK.
And should put him at about 850 or so. There it is, 850. About 1.9 million chips in play altogether. Starting to pull away here. Thomas going to raise again. Ace-8 offsuit. Perfectly good raise. I think he's gone a bit smaller this time. 80,000. King 10 of diamonds for Sir Bradford. I think fold is the only option he shouldn't be considering. This should either be call or all in. Does make the call. James with 7s. Same story for him. He can call, he could shove. He is going to call. 3 ways we go to the flop. Ace, ace, 4 trips for Thomas. Our chip leader smashes this flop. Two clubs. Thomas and James both have a club. James moves all in. He leads all in with his pocket 7s. That is likely the last decision he'll make this evening. Thomas is never, ever folding trips. He does make the call. James is going to need a 7 to stay alive as we go heads up to a run out. 7 for James or he is out in 4th place. The turn is a deuce. The river is an 8. 1 pip too many. Ace is full for Thomas. What a way to score the knockout. James going to go out in 4th place. Good game to James. Thank you so much for playing. Enjoy that $895. $13.85 for our 3 remaining players is what they've locked up. We see what they're playing for up there. And we see Thomas with just under 2/3 of the chips. Still playing 15, 30, 30 blinds.
Hey, if you all want to discuss hands, talk one time. If you all
We've got Kat explaining the chop rules right now. I think there is some discussion of a chop.
well, okay.
We allow one clock stoppage to discuss numbers.
They're discussing, but they don't want to talk about it.
I see cards getting dealt, so it doesn't look like we're going to take that timeout right now. Sir Bradford with the Jack Nine of Diamonds. Sounds like we are going to play on. Sir Bradford folding the Jack Nine. No. Not folding. He hasn't done anything yet. Just getting the graphics right. We do have a dead small. I believe. Okay, so it's Sir Bradford versus Thomas, 987, rainbow. Sir Bradford flopping top pair in a gutter. Thomas with middle pair with his 8. Thomas on this middle card board looking to lead, thinking this is better for the blinds versus a razor. And Thomas getting punished. So this is an all-in, effectively, and Sir Bradford calls. Sir Bradford ahead, Thomas needing a king or an 8 to score the knockout. Otherwise, we're going to see a double up heading Bradford's way. There's an ace, king or an 8 for Thomas. There's the king. Thomas scores the knockout. Sir Bradford gets it in good and gets rewarded with a third place finish. And we're heads up. 1385 heading Sir Bradford's way. He held the chip lead for a while, just ran out of luck. Top pair in a gutter. You couldn't ask for more in a three-handed situation. We're playing heads up for just under $1,500 total. $21.95 for second, $36.65 for first. And they're right next to each other. Thomas, a considerable chip lead at this point. But anything can happen. I've seen bigger comebacks. One of the first tournaments I ever called, it was like a 13-1 comeback heads up. The guy's down to his last couple chips, and then he just wins an all-in, and he wins another one, and another one, and another one, and he wins the tournament. So anything can still happen. Keep it tuned right here. Ace-10 suited for Thomas. Chooses to limp. 8-5 offsuit for John Mark. Checks his option. Thomas could also have just gone all in, and that would have been a reasonable thing to do. Instead, he's going to get a 10 in the window and flop the best of it. Thomas continuing to run hot. Can he run hot enough to outlast one more player is the question. Thomas going to bet this flop, I think. Middle pair. Betting 200,000. This is an overbet. John Mark with pretty much nothing. Lets it go. Thomas can just lean on him super hard with this chip disparity and these blinds. Every time you can just take the blinds, it's huge. And you're putting him further and further into the corner.
I'll be right.
All right, so just getting the graphics caught up with this action. Gus cheering for John Mark for the comeback. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Just waiting to get this thing to scan. I think it's still living in the past. I think it's still living on the last hand. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Okay, now we're getting into the present, maybe. Obviously, we have no flop. The button's moved. Might be a little bit of chop talk happening.
Can you hear me okay?
I don't understand what they're saying. Okay, so we got John Mark raising it up. Don't have cards yet. We do have Thomas making the call. John Mark with ace-4 suited. Thomas with what hands? Hopefully something that connects with 10-9-6, rainbow. John Mark moves all in. Thomas lets it go. The blinds are incorrect on the screen. 15, 30, 30 are the blinds. Okay, so John Mark gets the shove through. I don't have the hands yet.
Alan, do you need a replay of the hand?
It was king 4. Okay. So John had him the whole way. He had him pipped. Apologies for the tech issue. I think we're going to hold it for a moment for the graphics to catch up. Again, apologies for the technical problem.
New hand? C3 called with
Here we go. Things are moving. Things are moving. So you got the last one handled, and hopefully we get the next cards up soon. Does look like we saw a limp from the button. For some reason, the computer's had enough. Okay. Here we go. We got chip counts again. Thomas calls the 30. We have a check. Okay, Thomas limps the button with the Doyle Brunson, the 10 deuce. And ace 9 8, all diamonds, both players with a flush draw. Thomas moving all in. Sitting with just 10 high would love to take it down right here, right now. John Mark with 7 high and a diamond drawer that may not even be good makes the fold. Thomas taking another one, keeping John Mark in the corner. Sitting right around 10 big blinds. Less than 10 big blinds, actually. John Mark with the 8-3 offsuit might just have to give a walk. This is one of the very worst hands in poker. Not fun to give walks at this point, but it is a necessary evil, and he was dominated, and ace-8 suited was not going anywhere, I imagine. Thomas putting 2 of those big blinds in there, 2 of those 9-ish that he started the hand with. And Thomas can shove on John Mark a fair amount and just take the blinds or force him to call off with a weak hand. Thomas with 9-4 offsuit, another very weak hand. Chooses to just call. John Mark with ace-king. What a time to just call. John Mark all in. And gets that through. Gets his blind back. And blinds are up. Speaking of blinds, 20, 40, 40. We've crossed that threshold, everyone. Less than 50 big blinds in play. Give or take a level, this is usually where tournaments ends, like around 50 blinds in play or less, like give or take a level. Sometimes it goes a bit quicker. Sometimes it drags out. We'll see what happens here. John Mark with the queen 10 suited. Moves all in. Thomas has to let it go. A good start for John Mark. Good start to this level. Inches closer to the 10 big blind mark. If he gets one double, it's just about a new ball game. Thomas with king 6 offsuit. How does he want to play this? He is going to raise it up. We're at the point where we really shouldn't see much limping at all. We should be seeing a lot of raising. John with kings. John running super hot. And Thomas has bet most of John Mark's stack, so this is an all-in, and that's a call. And Thomas is going to need a miracle to end this, otherwise John Mark going to get right back in it. Kings versus king 6 offsuit. Thomas, wrong place, wrong time. Backdoor straight draw, 9-3-4. 8 of diamonds means that John Mark will get the double up. Thomas drawing dead. Another 9 on the end. John Mark doubling up. John Mark, 15 big blinds. Back in the game. Still down 2-1, but that can flip on another double up. Reminds you of these payouts, 36.65 for first, 21.95 for second. Huge pickup for John Mark, just what he needed. Now you can play a bit of poker. Now you can see a flop or two. We don't have to just get in pre. It was a great move by Thomas. John Mark just happened to have it that time.
It was 316.
Line's right. And we get the cards dealt out. Ace 7 for John Mark. On the button. John Mark on the right. Howard Joyce just pointed funny as well. John Mark making the call, not going to raise it. 8-5 for Thomas. Free flop. Jack 8-3. All spades. Thomas with an 8 and a spade. Thomas check calls the 40K. Queen of clubs helps neither player. Downgrades Thomas the third pair. Check, check. The river is 4 of spades. Thomas with the 5 of spades, giving him a flush. Quickly checks it over. Does John want to bluff at this? He does not. Going to just turn it over. And Thomas going to take the pot. I think Thomas's raise into what ended up being kings was perfectly fine. A lot of the time, especially what we've seen tonight, John Mark's going to have a weak hand and he's going to fold. If he has kings, every now and then you're going to get lucky and win anyway, but most of the time he's going to fold, and you're going to have even more chips, and you're going to be even closer to victory. Just how it is, though. Sometimes you run out of luck. Has he run out yet? We don't know. May have just been a speed bump. We'll find out. Thomas limping the queen 5. John Mark checking his option. The 4 deuce, which flops a 4. Out flopping Thomas. Who is going to bet this? $300,000, I think. Yes, 300,000. Half of John Mark's remaining effective stack. Bottom pair, no kicker. A lot of scary runouts. Is this what we're going with? Are we going with any pair? Not quite yet. Does make the fold. Thomas taking this one and get on to another hand of 20, 40, 40 here on TCH Live from TCH Social Austin. TEF Poker Tour main event, final table. There were 77 players, and now there are 2 players. Which one will take the trophy? Pocket 5s for John Mark on the button. We're going to go to a flop. 5, 5, and 6, 3. Jack 9, 9. 2 hearts. 5s are still good. Bit vulnerable to being counterfeit. John Mark moved all in and got the snap fold. It's either a snap fold or a snap call. And with the 5s, you're hoping for the folds. Anything that's snap calling has you in a lot of trouble. Ace 7 for Thomas. Raises it up. $300,000 is the raise. Saying, let's go. And John Mark says, not this time. Makes the fold. Get the cards dealt out. 15 bigs in John Mark's stack. Gives the walk. Okay-ish suited queen for Thomas. Our next hand. Let's get these scanned and then see the situation here. That was the last hand. Apologies for the little technical hiccup. The computer's been in a mood tonight, and sure we'll get this working again in just a moment. There we go. We see chips getting put out. We see cards getting scanned. Thomas with the 7-6 offsuit decides to limp. John Mark with the 9-5 offsuit. This becomes a free flop. Seven, 6, 3, 2 pair for Thomas. Gut shot for John Mark. John Mark moves all in, and Thomas celebrating already. Top 2 pair, a snap call. John Mark needing an 8 or a 4 with his double gut shot. 8 or a 4 to stay alive. Queen of spades isn't it. Ace on the river. Thomas has won the tournament. Congratulations to Thomas. Congratulations to John Mark on second place. Heck of a run for both of these players. Thomas started as chip leader. He's going to finish as chip leader. He's got all the chips now. He's celebrating. He is thrilled. We're all thrilled for you, Thomas. You played great. Heck of a run. And here are our payouts one more time. $36.65 is what Thomas has taken home. John Mark, $21.95. And you see the rest of these payouts. Thanks for playing. And we're going to have this trophy presentation in just a moment. What a time it's been. This was a really fun final table. So glad we could have the Def Poker Tour out here. They also make stops in Baltimore and Vegas. Hope to see you back here in Austin. We see Thomas getting the trophy. Be sure and join us tomorrow night for PLO at the Capitol Final Table. I'll be back with you on that one. Or come play it if you're in Austin. Wednesday, back here in Austin, we got the VPIP Survivor game. That should be a really fun one. Lowest VPIP gets thrown out every hour. That is a fun format that I will go nowhere near because I would be ejected immediately. Like they would probably not even wait the hour. And also, if you're around Austin, be sure to check out our TGIF 40K guarantee next Friday evening. Poker Atlas Tour coming in November. If you're up in Dallas, Trailblazer Tour starting up on Thursday, Dallas and Las Colinas. We see that huge trophy and that smaller trophy in front of Thomas. So we see the winning hand, the 7-6. That lowly 7-6 offsuit, flopping the world and the other guy flops enough that he can put his money in, and you win with 7-6 offsuit. Who needs aces?
If they want to get rid of the space in between, he's getting it.
Can't get the winner photo. One can dream of the winner photo. That is the dream. We see Uncle T taking the winner photo. Shout out Uncle T. Part of the team here. We see Kat there. We see a few others there. There we go. We got it. We got it on our camera now as well. Somebody screenshot that, send that to Thomas. That was great. Yeah, and who needs an ICM chop, man? I mean, you're just going to win the tournament. Who needs a chop? All right, so that'll do it here from Austin.
Yeah, real quick, everybody. This is called T, live stream coordinator. Just wanted to let everybody know about this was the greatest group. They were so appreciative, so considerate, good to our dealers. We're very pleased to have them, and we hope to have them back soon. I hope you enjoyed it tonight.
Absolutely. And on behalf of our production staff, our action trackers, our dealers, thank you all so much for being here in the chat. We do this for you. Hit like if you've enjoyed this. Join us back here tomorrow night for POL. Thank you so much for being here. I'm William Whitey, the